Welcome to PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. How are you? I'm joined today by Anthony Bongiorno.
Hi everybody. It's great
Me and Anthony. This is what always happens on Zoom.
We're already in a huge fight.
Anthony, how are you?
Surviving.
Right?
These are some dark days.
You bet. The audio sounds weird. It's because me and Anthony are in two different places. My home and his home.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, I'm in his home and he's in mine. We just thought it'd be kooky. And, yeah, so this is how it's going to sound for a while. But you know what? Worse things are going on.
Yeah, way worse.
So how's the end of the world going for you?
Oh, boy. It's all right. I mean, I'm getting cabin fever like everyone else, but I'm just trying to focus on the moment and stay grateful that I'm, for now that I'm well and I'm still employed and, working from home sucks, but, at least I'm working and, it could be a lot worse. So I'm trying to just stay positive and grateful.
Well, that's good. I don't have cabin fever because I'm out working directly with somebody who has the virus. Well, but, that's essential life.
Yeah, I'm not essential. I'm non-essential.
That's okay. Someone on Twitter said they use the word essential because it sounds better than sacrificial.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. Yeah, no. I'm teaching full-time from home, which when you think about it, when this is all over, I feel like everybody's going to look back at this and say like, wow, we really just told every single teacher in the country, you need to work full-time from home with no training. Go. And we all just did it with no training. Yeah, it's crazy times.
So much is going to be different when this is over because we've learned so much about ourselves.
I know. I think about that all the time. Like even professionally, I feel like I've used so many like cool tools that I found that now I'll use probably back when we're like back in the classroom. But I was just thinking like, I just feel like, are we ever going to like shake hands with people ever again? I feel like this is making everybody's going to come out of this with a little bit of OCD for a long time, I feel like.
Yeah. I have hope that people are going to come out of it with a more care for one another. I think that you're going to have Generation Z is already pretty liberal, but I think watching their parents go poor is going to make them even more liberal. And they're going to, you're going to have a whole generation that's going to take things like education and healthcare. They're not going to take it for granted.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us will be not taking a lot for granted for a long time, at least. Like I was just thinking, like going literally anywhere is going to be like a treat.
Oh my God, I'd love to go somewhere.
I know. I just want to go to Barnes and Noble and walk around.
Yeah.
Just browse. That's all I want to do. I want to go to the movies.
Me too.
I want to go out to eat. Like there's so many things I want to do.
Yeah.
Little things.
Yeah, I can't wait for the world to open.
Yeah. I don't know. I read, I've been reading a lot about this as everyone has. And I read something that basically said, it was the same article actually that you and Janine talked about on the last pod, which was like the 4 possible timelines of how this is going to end.
Yeah.
And then I was doing some reading like from some other experts in the field about like what they predict. And it seems like there seems to be agreement for now that we're probably going to be doing the social distancing thing on and off for a while until there's a vaccine.
Yeah.
The hope is that it doesn't mutate and become more lethal. That's a really scary possibility as well.
Yeah.
Because that happened with the 1918 Spanish flu. The second wave was like way deadlier than the first.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping that that's not a reality.
Spanish newspapers were the only ones who were like on the ball enough to start printing stories about it while everyone else was scared.
Yeah.
And that's why they call it Spanish flu?
That's why it's called Spanish flu. It started in the United States. It is not from Spain.
And I just read recently that we live in New York, the coronavirus from New York that's in New York now can be tracked to Europe.
Yeah, I saw that too, not China.
So stop being racist, people.
Yeah.
the whole story about someone eating a bat or eating something that there's no validity to that story.
That literally comes from one YouTube video. I mean, people are so dumb. Yeah, I just fact checked what I said before. Yeah, you're right about the Spanish flu, and its naming. And the first case, I believe, was in Kansas.
Yep. Speaking of things that I just learned something mind-blowing about Florida.
What?
All right, so you know how the cliche is that Florida is insane?
Yeah.
Florida is now I might be totally wrong on this, by the way, but I'm not here to inform you. This is PCMC. I heard that Florida is one of the only states that doesn't have a law against printing and publishing something heard from a police blotter.
Okay.
Meaning it's not crazier there, but any story about any arrest or anything that comes over the police blotter can be printed.
Oh, so it's like the Florida Man Challenge explained.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because it does seem like a lot of crazy stuff happens there. I'm sure it does, but a lot of crazy stuff happens everywhere. Yeah.
All right, you want to go to the news?
Sure. Let's head over to the news desk.
All right. Only one of these stories is not horribly depressing.
Oh, great.
Let's start with the one that's not depressing.
Oh, good.
CBS has decided in this time of social distancing to bring back their classic Sunday night movie.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes.
They're new ones?
Nope. Just, classic movies.
Oh, good. Okay.
So on May 3rd is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
May 10th is Forrest Gump. May 17th is Mission Impossible 1. May 24th is Titanic.
Wow.
And May 31st is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Okay, cool.
Kids these days don't know this, but back before your streamings, even back before DVD, movies broadcast on network television was kind of a deal. It was kind of a big deal.
I was just going to say, as you were reporting that story, it made me realize I can't remember the last time I watched a movie on an actual primetime during primetime on a network, a regular network.
Right.
It used to be kind of a thing.
Yeah. Even with commercials and even with cutting out things for content like cursing and violence and sex, it still was a big deal. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one from our childhood that I remember.
I remember, what do you call it? Well, I think the last one that I remember being important was back in 1997 or 8. Saving Private Ryan played on ABC, and that was a big deal.
I think I do remember that, and it was always world premiere.
Right.
It got a lot of fanfare. I wonder, was that counter programming? Was something else big on that night?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's big on Sunday nights now, but back in the 90s, Fox was pretty big on Sunday nights.
I feel like during the Super Bowl and stuff, networks used to show movies and they don't do that.
Yeah, that's true. It's, the distribution chain really doesn't have room for network TV in it anymore. Now it goes theatrical release to digital release to Blu-ray and 4K and then to streaming. Yeah,
wow. I didn't even think about that until you said it, but yeah, you're right. That's just something that's kind of just faded away totally. Oh, I mean, who would watch a movie on TV anymore with the commercials and the content edited?
Right. But back before you can get your hands on a movie
instantly.
Right. I mean, there are certain films, they grew their fan base because of network TV, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz. Although that was popular at first, too. It's a Wonderful Life wasn't a success in its theatrical run.
What about March of the Wooden Soldiers? Isn't that another one?
Yeah, I don't know how it did originally in its theatrical run, but it certainly became a classic through its network being shown on networks.
On Easter, right? Wasn't it always shown on Easter or Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
The Wizard of Oz was shown on Easter, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And It's a Wonderful Life shown on Christmas, which is why we think of it as a Christmas movie, but about a half hour of it takes place at Christmas.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not truly a Christmas movie. Unless you think of its wholesome content as Christmassy.
Well, I always thought that it was semi-inspired by A Christmas Carol, though, wasn't it?
No, it's inspired by a short story called The Gift.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought like he's walked through like different stages of his life by a spirit. I thought it was like kind of like a Christmas Carol.
Kinda. I mean, like, you know this. You have a master's degree in English, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you probably know this more, but like ghosts and things like that have a connection to Christmas tales
because of Charles Dickens, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, A Christmas Carol kind of invented Christmas as a major celebration rather than a quiet day of going to church and spending some quality time with your family.
Yeah.
And it was originally marketed as like a Christmas ghost story. And he wrote a couple of other less successful Christmas ghost stories. And yeah, that's something that we've kind of dropped as a culture. But even if you listen to those old Christmas carols, there's one that says something about like sitting by the fire and telling ghost stories on Christmas.
Scary ghost stories.
Yeah, that used to be, you're right, that used to be a thing.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to another news story, and this one's really hard for me. So the largest movie theatrical chain, AMC, might be filing for bankruptcy soon. Most economists or people who track these things have said that it's probably about to happen because they made the decision to not even pay their rent this month.
Wow.
So according to I'm getting this information from a website called Mic, M-I-C. So although this is the only one I got, but I saw it in other sources too. According to a Wall Street analyst who spoke with Hollywood Reporter, AMC theaters will likely file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy by summer's end.
I don't think that necessarily means they're going to close all operation, though.
No, it doesn't necessarily. But they were suffering before this.
I mean, I don't understand AMC because I feel like all movie theaters were suffering, and AMC decided to open a bunch of new locations, which was a big gamble.
I mean, not to sound like a total lib, but there really is socialism for corporations. There are major corporations that have tons of debt, and we just it's no big deal.
Well, I guess the theory is because they provide so many jobs.
AMC did not pay its rent for April. It furloughed 600 corporate employees in March.
Wow.
What else?
That's upsetting. I mean, by us, a brand new, beautiful AMC just opened.
I mean, I can do a whole mini episode, or I can do a whole series of mini episodes on why I think movie theaters and that communal experience is important.
It's going to go away. I think that this pandemic is going to change the way movies are released forever. I kind of think everything's going to start to be released at home the same day it's released in theaters.
Which then you might as well just forget theaters, because if they're released at the exact same time,
I think theaters are going to become very, very hipster-ish.
Right. They won't die. Nothing ever dies. I mean, you could go get a record player right now.
That's what I mean. It's going to be like, oh, cool, let's go see a movie in the theater. It'll be cool, like that.
Well, that's going to be fucking me.
Well, yeah, I mean, me too. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of theaters still open in New York, but my feeling is probably for the majority of the country who aren't going out to the movies regularly anyway, they're just going to be watching movies fully at home, like brand new releases.
Yeah.
I think it's so weird that you and I went to see Invisible Man, and that was the last movie we saw, and then it 2 days later was on demand, and we saw it on opening night.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. They got to do something about the prices, though, because I'm still not willing to pay $20 to watch something one time.
No, yeah.
Maybe other people are. I'm dying to see Emma, but $19.99 for one viewing, I can't do it.
I saw Emma.
Did you like it? It's not your cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea for sure.
I love the book, Emma.
Here's my problem with Emma, with this version of Emma. People are calling it the most funny version.
No, Clueless is probably the most funny version.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, that's another thing, which is I had no idea. I thought Clueless was inspired by it.
No, it's the same exact plot.
It's beat for beat the same story with the same characters.
Even the same character names, like Sir Elton is Elton in Clueless.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
But here's my problem with Emma, which is I feel like it wanted to be like Sophia Coppola's Marie Antoinette. It wanted to look like Candy and have contemporary music, and it seems like that's where it was leaning, but it doesn't have the guts to do it. So it ends up being aesthetically beautiful, and some of the outfits seem a little, anachronistic, but in the end, I feel like it ends up being tame. I wanted it to push further and be a full-on comedy, I don't know. I mean, I haven't read it, and other than Clueless, I've seen no other versions. But by the way they were marketing it, I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be a very hip, sort of sharp version of Emma. Kind of like the way the new Little Women was.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of, the marketing was influenced heavily by Little Women.
And Little Women doesn't have contemporary music, but it has contemporary performance. It has contemporary dialogue, at least in the way people speak.
See, now, I didn't know Emma has contemporary music. It does?
It does not.
Oh, it does not. Okay.
It does not. I think it should.
Okay, because it would fit with the rest of the aesthetic.
Yeah, or the aesthetic, the visual aesthetic could be more. I feel like it's leaning in that direction, but it doesn't go for it. It ends up being just another version of Emma, probably.
How's the performance of the lead?
She's good. I like her in other stuff too. She's good, but I mean, this is going back to the story. But are you supposed to like her at all?
She's kind of like Cher Horowitz. Like, she starts off as very vapid, and then she's supposed to develop throughout, and by the end, you're supposed to like her. But really, she's just a very young. I mean, she's a teenage girl.
Because I feel like I never like her.
But you've never seen any other versions.
No, I mean in this version, I never got.
Oh, okay.
I do like Cher by the end of Clueless.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to kind of think that Emma is very naive, and then she grows by the end.
Emma is played by Anya Taylor-Joy in this version, and you'll know her from The Witch, or as I like to call it, The Vivitch.
Yeah.
She's good. It's it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, the other versions that I've seen are the Gwyneth Paltrow version from the 90s.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar. Like, it's very aesthetically, like, pleasing. It's very colorful. It's kind of candy coated.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I'm trying to find right now that I think is also from the 90s that is more faithful to the book. That's really good. That I like better. I'm trying to figure. I know. I don't know who plays Emma, but Toni Collette is in it. Let me find it. Oh wait, no. Toni Collette is in the 1996 version.
Isn't there one from like 2000?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Or the 2000s?
Yeah, I think there have definitely been a few.
It kind of feels like, who asked for this?
Yeah, I could see that. Although I feel like whenever they take these classic novels, kind of like Little Women, and they make, it's like those classic novels that they readapt like every 20 years.
Yeah.
There was, nobody asked for them, but they tend to do pretty well unless they're really shitty. The most recent Romeo and Juliet I heard was really shitty, and who asked for that?
Right.
That was the one with Haley Steinfeld.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that even happened.
Yeah. I mean, and everybody knows the best adaptation of Romeo and Juliet is the 90s Baz Luhrmann.
Do you actually believe that?
I mean, no, but as far as like the most watchable and the most fun and the one that I always show my students, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's so super fun because it's so colorful, and it's so inventive, but it still preserves the original Shakespearean language.
Yes.
And it's, I don't know, I just think it's a cool movie, and it's kind of like a 90s, it's iconic.
Yeah, it is. All right, so our last story is a little depressing, but I want to make it a shout out. I want to make it an in memoriam.
Okay.
So we've had a couple of.
Sorry, I just found it. There were two Emma adaptations, both in 1996. One was the theatrical one with Gwyneth Paltrow, and then there was a TV one with Kate Beckinsale.
In the same year?
The same year, both 1996, yeah. All right, sorry, go ahead.
All right, so I want to give a big shout out to Lee Fierro. Lee Fierro was an actress who lived on Martha's Vineyard, and she mostly did plays in Martha's Vineyard and taught children drama. But she's most well known as playing Mrs. Kitner, the mother of the little boy who dies in Jaws.
Oh.
Yeah, I always thought like the way they styled her and the husband made them look older than they would be. She was 91, so she lived a long life.
Wow.
But she did die of complications from coronavirus.
Oh, I thought you were going to say of a shark attack.
Nope, coronavirus.
Oh, that's horrible.
I honestly, all right, I love Jaws. I think it's one of the best movies ever. Infinitely rewatchable. I just want to say she's a great part of it. She's not on screen for long. We see her a little bit on the beach before the kid dies, but then her big moment is after the funeral. She walks up to Chief Brody wearing the black clothes and the black veil, slaps him in the face, and does that whole speech about, oh, you knew there was a shark and you did nothing.
Yeah, it's a great slap.
And it's so powerful. For that one little moment that she's on screen, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's such a big moment for the movie because her power in that scene is what makes Chief Brody more resolved in doing what he wants to take care of the shark rather than what the mayor is letting him do.
Right.
So I think the whole, it's a turning point in the movie. You know, the movie begins with, shark attacks and comedy, and then after that dramatic moment, it becomes this, almost like Moby Dick-like adventure to get the shark.
Yeah. And how prophetic, you know? You knew, but you did nothing.
Yes. You know, some people are saying, well, you know, if you live into your 90s and you die of corona, you had a good run. But I don't know. I see it more sad. To me, I think if you lived so long and you saw so much and then this is what got you in the end, I find that sad.
Well, I mean, most people who live to be that old die of some kind of illness that nobody really dies of coronavirus. It's because of organ failure and stuff like that.
And no one really dies of old age.
Yeah, it's all organ failure or cardiac or failure and stuff that's secondary sometimes to illness. So I don't know. I think as long as there's no suffering, I could see why somebody would be comforted to say well, they lived a full life. I
just feel like if you live a full life, maybe I'm thinking too much about when you're gone and that doesn't matter. But I feel like if you live a full life and then you die of something like corona or you die in a war or something, the narrative of your life is superseded by the narrative of the disease. Yeah, I guess. I guess what you're saying is you live 90 years and then your death becomes affiliated with this once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. And it's kind of you become a statistic. You become oh, this is just one of the people who died of COVID. Right. Yeah, I get that. Although even if this woman hadn't died of COVID-19, despite her whole long life of being an actress and a teacher, we still would have always been oh, she's the mother from Jaws. Yeah, exactly. But I'm looking at an article from People magazine. She taught over 1,000 children in the art of theater. Wow. So she was a teacher. Yeah. So they all did that slap. Yes. Did you imagine in her class, she was okay, today we're going to do the monologue from Jaws. And then some kid's what's Jaws? And she's get the fuck out. She only did one other film, a independent film. And she's credited in Jaws 4, but I bet that's just footage. Yeah. Yeah. Did she do a lot of theater acting? Yes. Okay. In Martha's Vineyard. So she probably is just a Martha's Vineyard local and they hired her locally. Because that's where they shot Jaws. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. She's slapping Roy Scheider. Is he dead? Yeah, he's been dead.
Richard Dreyfuss is still alive. Is the other guy dead?
The other guy's been dead a long time too.
Yeah,
Richard
wow.
Dreyfuss is alive.
He's the only survivor.
Yes. No, I think the mother. I think Chief Brody's wife is still alive. Something Gray. What the hell's her name?
Star of Jaws 4.
Yes, absolutely.
Wasn't she married to the head of the studio?
I don't know about that slander.
I would check on get intel on that because I'm pretty sure she was married to somebody.
Robert Shaw is the actor and writer who played Quint. He died.
Quint is like Ahab.
Yeah, he's the best. He's so great in that.
I catch a fish.
I'll catch a fish for you, Chiefy, but it won't be cheap. I'll get you the fin, the tail, the whole damn thing.
He's great.
With his rough, kind of Irishy brogue. Lorraine Gary is the woman who played Chief Brody's wife.
Click that personal life tab. That's where all the tea is.
She's been married to MCA president Sid Sheinberg for 60 years.
There you go.
This is one of these IMDb trivia things that I think is bullshit. It's saying that the mother from Back to the Future, Lorraine, is named after her.
IMDb has really become a wasteland.
It's the Wikipedia of movies.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go to Trailer Corner?
Yeah, sure.
So we watched 3 really interesting trailers.
What a collection.
Thank you. I try to curate them well.
Where do you want to begin?
Let's begin with Midnight Gospel.
All right, so I consider myself to be a pretty smart person.
Sure.
I watched this trailer 2 times, and I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Well, the trailer does not give you a lot of story.
No, it does not.
It is an animated series for Netflix by Pendleton Ward, who did Adventure Time. The trailer's all style. It's kind of got that Cal Arts Adventure Time kind of rounded style, soft style. It also has a sort of psychedelic, almost like heavy metal kind of style.
Definitely felt like an acid trip.
Right, yeah. And he definitely is because he's now on Netflix, he's doing things he couldn't do before.
Right.
Like, I think there's a virtual reality machine that looks like a giant vagina.
Yeah, yeah.
The lead character puts his head into.
Yeah.
Here's the synopsis I got from IMDb. The lead character is a podcaster, and he goes around to different dimensions, and he goes to dimensions that are dying or going through an apocalypse, and he interviews people about the end of the world where they are.
That's interesting because when I watched it, the one thing that I did get from it was I felt like it had a Doctor Who vibe.
Yeah.
Now I'm not a Whovian, but I know he like travels around to different galaxies and dimensions and planets.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is like that.
Yeah, and it's got a bit of a Rick and Morty vibe too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Just from the trailer, it seems very it's going to be very kind of hopeful and positive, whereas Rick and Morty tends to be very nihilistic.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun and funny.
Yeah,
but also deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a series, right?
Yeah. The protagonist is a guy named Clancy, and in every universe he goes into, I think he's drawn in a different style.
Yeah, I noticed that. And I think everybody's kind of drawn in a different style, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like he could pick his avatar.
I have to watch the trailer 10 more times.
A lot happens in the trailer.
Yeah.
And a lot of just images, dreamlike images.
And the comedian Duncan Trussell is also a big part of it.
Now, who is that? I'm not familiar with him.
I'm not that familiar with him either. I believe he's the voice of Clancy. But, you know, I just got to say, like, Netflix continues to kill it with their animation.
I feel like they kill it just in general.
But I can't think of any of their animated series that I have not thought was groundbreaking. They're really good. They really have balls when it comes to animation. Like, especially compared to Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney, which are the other 3 places where you get animation.
Right.
Their series are they seem to let creators have carte blanche to do whatever they want.
Well, it's interesting because it's like, it's hard to pin down what Netflix's brand is. Because, like, something on this could never fly on Disney Plus because it doesn't match the Disney brand.
Right.
And I guess same for Cartoon Network, although Adult Swim is kind of like an alternate, almost like a Nick at Night, like late night version where
But
things
it has
are
a very edgy brand.
Edgy. Yeah, I feel like Netflix's whole brand is just like excellence. And
Right. They're like Apple.
yeah. It's just like everything we do, we trust our artists and creators fully, and we are just dedicated to it being really good. And that worked well for them.
And in some ways, I believe they've earned it.
Yeah, I mean, they've created, there's something for every type of viewer on Netflix.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, they have hokey romantic comedies. They have like Christian fare. They have really dark series. They have really funny series. They have lots of great animation. I mean, they've really got everything.
Yeah. But I think they're another one of those corporations that's in debt.
I don't know. I feel like, shouldn't they be like profiting like crazy right now?
But I think they spend like crazy.
Yeah. I bet their stock is up right now.
Yeah.
You watched Tiger King yet?
Yeah.
I watched I'm 4 episodes in.
Here's what I'll say about Tiger King. Like, I get it. I found it interesting. I think it's funny. I love all the memes. But I don't love how people online seem to be heroicizing the Tiger King himself.
Yeah, it seems like everybody online is like, yeah, Carol Baskin's a bitch. She killed her husband. And it's like, okay, she probably did kill her husband. However, Joe Exotic is a horrible human being also. Right. And they're all terrible people.
Right, and as you get into the later episodes, you'll see even more that he's horrible.
Yeah, he's bad, but everybody's like, oh, Joe Exotic is our hero figure. No. And Doc Antler and Carol Baskin are the villains.
Joe Exotic takes young, straight drug addicts and gives them drugs.
Yeah.
In agreement to stay with him. Yeah,
Janine and I were talking about this the other day, and she said that she thinks that only his last husband is the only one who's actually gay.
Yes.
The other ones are just gay for meth.
And, you know, he euthanized just like they all did. It's about 3 cult leaders.
Yes.
It's about competing cults. So the Cardi B, who seems to be really on Joe Exotic's side, I'm going to have to disagree with Cardi on this one.
Do that at your own peril.
Yeah.
I don't know why the show itself seems to be told like almost through his point of view, even though it seems like the storyline is split evenly amongst the 3, at least so far. It seems like the show takes his side.
Well, I think it's more split with
him and Carol.
Yeah. Doc Antle is another awful person.
With a harem.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all cult leaders.
Horrible. What about what I just, like 2 episodes ago, was where they all revealed how much they were paid?
Which is like nothing.
It was like $100 a week.
Right.
For 7 days of work.
But that bitch, Carol Baskin, at least she does the exact same thing, but she acts like she's doing something good.
She doesn't pay them. She has basically a theme park, a zoo, but she says it's like an animal sanctuary.
Right. It's the same shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
You know what really blew my mind with it? And maybe this is because I'm a city slicker.
What?
But people are like, yeah, everyone loves tigers. There's nothing cooler than a tiger. And I'm like, really?
I know. I don't get it, but it seems like these places are really popular.
Yeah, I'm going to get a picture with a tiger, and it's going to be the dopest shit ever.
Well, it's like, I guess these people get like tiger tattoos.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, there's definitely a cat community and a big cat community, which is like within the larger cat community. I do love that every time you see Carol, it's like they're just talking about how she's a murderer, and then she's like, hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Like, it always cuts to her like on her bike, or like,
it doesn't help that she kind of sounds like it resembles Hillary. And
yeah, she does. And then
she's got the sociopath eyes like Hillary.
I saw a meme that compared like it was like Joe Exotic's Trump and she's Hillary.
Yes. Yeah.
But again, I feel like that meme was like championing Trump as like the hero.
Yeah, stupid.
Joe Exotic is the hero. Did you watch Hillary on Hulu?
No, I have not.
It's great.
Okay.
It's 3 parts or 4 parts. Really, really well done.
Okay. I'll check it out. So the next trailer we watched was A Trip to Greece.
All right, so I've never seen any of these TV shows / they're edited into movies, I guess.
Yes.
Before, and I watched the trailer without knowing it was the fourth part of a series. I got tipped off by the credits that were like, oh, a great way to end this. So I spent the first watch being like, what the fuck is this? And
Were you aware of the other ones?
I was not. When I like Googled it, I saw the trip from 2010, and I was like, oh, I vaguely remember that one.
Well, there's a scene from that got really famous on YouTube of them both doing Michael Caine impressions.
Yes, that I remember. And then I was like, okay, I didn't know that there were two other ones.
Yeah, it's Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. They're both British comedians, and they play themselves in it.
But like fictionalized version of themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of like, but there's a lot of improvising. It's kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And in the UK, they're aired as series, like 6-episode series. But then in America, they're cut down into movies, which you think would make them unwieldy and not work. But I think I saw the first 2 movies. That's all I've ever seen. And I think they work very well as movies because they're funny and they've got them doing impressions and stuff. But then you've also got beautiful backgrounds. But then you also have a sort of tension of them not liking each other that much because one of them thinks himself as an important person and the other is more of a goofy comedian.
Right.
And it's also very melancholic sometimes. There's a scene from, I think, the second movie or the first movie where Steve Coogan is smoking weed and the other guy's like, oh, I don't do drugs. And Steve Coogan's like, all crazy people do drugs. That really hit hard. So I haven't seen the third one. I want to see it. I think that they're good. I'm a Steve Coogan fan. I like him.
Hamlet 2 is one of my favorite movies.
Hamlet 2 is fantastic. I haven't seen all of the Alan Partridge stuff. I've seen a little bit of it. And then wherever he pops up, he's good. He's always good.
Yeah, he is really fun. I mean, the trailer I thought looked really funny. I mean, I'll see it now. Maybe I'll go back and watch the other 3.
Oh, did you see Stan and Ollie?
No, but I heard it was good.
I thought it was really good, and he did an amazing job being Stan Laurel. Like, he got the voice and the mannerisms down perfectly.
Kind of resembles him. I mean, he really resembles him.
Yeah.
No, he's good. It looks good. It looks funny. I wonder why they did that. Why did they decide to not just release it on Netflix or something? Why did they cut it into a film? Is it just because it was 2010? And
I think they took the film first to Cannes Film Festival. I think they wanted it to be a film. I don't know, but they've done it. They've all been series and then made into films.
But you can, I'm sure now you could just watch the series if you want to anywhere, right?
Yeah. And
it's what are they, in the original one, they're searching for like a meal, right? Like a perfect meal?
No, I think that they are writing, they're writing restaurant reviews.
Okay. And this one, they're tracing Ulysses. He said.
Is it? Epicurus.
He said, not you, or maybe it's Odysseus. I don't know.
Oh, but yeah, maybe. Yeah. There's always some reason for why they're doing it. So the third trailer we looked at was How to Build a Girl.
Yes. I think it looks great. I really love Beanie.
Beanie Feldstein doing an English accent.
Yes.
She is a little nerd girl. Stretch for her.
Yeah.
No, I love Beanie. She plays this little like nerd girl who in the beginning she's talking to all the posters on her wall, and there's like a Freud poster and so she's like this little nerd and she wants to write about music and she gets rejected, so she decides to create a cool persona of herself.
Mm-hmm.
She dyes her hair red and she starts wearing outlandish clothes and top hats, and through that she gets success writing and entering the world of music.
It reminds me a lot of Almost Famous.
Yes, it does, yeah.
I think her British accent is pretty good.
Yeah, and I believe it's based on a YA book.
I don't know if it was. It was a book. I don't know if it was specifically a YA book. It might have been. I know it's a book that's like semi-autobiographical.
Oh, okay.
It's like fictionalized memoir kind of thing. It looks really good. I mean, I think that she is just a rising star, that Beanie.
You cannot stop the Beanie train.
Yeah. Is this her first lead role in a film? that she's not splitting with anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't count Booksmart, then yeah, I think so. And then you've also got the amazing Emma Thompson in it.
She's so great.
When is she not great?
I know. She's always great. She's amazing. Even movies that are, I was going to say, even movies that are not too great, she's great in.
She's fantastic.
Like that movie Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell.
Never saw it.
It's okay. Like, it's okay, but she's great in it. Great. Late Night. Great.
Yeah, Late Night was good. We talked about that.
Yeah.
She's good, but she has range, but then she's also good as the asshole boss.
Yes. Yeah.
She's the asshole boss in this.
Yeah.
I love Beanie. She's so endearing, and I have to say I love that she is not a skinny girl, and she's got a good career going.
I like and respect that she doesn't seem to be cashing in on Jonah Hill at all.
Not at all. Not even using his name.
Well, his name is Feldstein.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like most people still don't know that they're siblings.
Yeah.
Like, you think that even to sell Booksmart, they would have played up more like, oh, this is like the female Superbad starring Jonah Hill's sister.
They did that a little bit.
I mean, it's a much smarter movie than Superbad, although I don't think it's as good.
Actually, I only saw Superbad once, and I did not love it.
Oh, I love Superbad. Watch it again. It's really funny.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as smart as Booksmart, obviously, but it's hilarious.
People that have known me a long time have told me that Jonah Hill in that movie reminds them of me in high school.
Yes. Just his aesthetic. Like the curly hair. And like he wears like a t-shirt with like a short sleeve button down open over it.
Yeah.
I mean, funny. I mean, it's kind of dated now. I'm sure it's like problematic by today's standards.
I'm sure there's homophobic jokes in it.
Oh, tons.
And also, like, all the sex stuff is probably, consent in that movie is probably a little shaky.
Oh, yeah. But, what's her name is also really great in that movie, Emma Stone. She's so good in it.
Yeah. Was that her first thing?
I think that was like I don't know if that was before. I think that was before Easy A. Yeah, I think that was like her first big thing.
Was that before The Help?
Yeah, definitely. The Help was her first dramatic role.
She's great. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with the chill sesh. Welcome back to PCMC. I'm Mike Buongiorno. I'm here with Anthony Buongiorno.
Hello.
Anthony, how was your break?
It was great.
Oh, I'm glad.
I took a nap.
I checked to see if the audio came out good, because I don't know what I'm doing.
And?
Sounds great.
In this time of COVID, people still got to make podcasts. Zoom should figure something out.
You know what? You're fucking right.
I mean, this pandemic is not going to stop white people from making podcasts.
So this is the chill sesh. This is where we have unstructured dialogue.
I feel like we've been doing that the whole time.
I know. I actually had in my notes that I wanted to talk about Emma in the chill sesh, but it came up earlier.
Well, it was spoiled.
So what have you been chilling with?
I guess like everybody else, I've been doing a lot more reading and TV watching.
I can't seem to read. Every time I try to read, I'm like, I don't know, I can't get my head focused out of the nightmare that is life.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more distracted than usual, but...
I started reading Samantha Irby's new book.
Oh, I just downloaded that last night.
It's good, but I'm reading it very slowly.
I feel like now is a really good time for fiction. Escapism, baby.
Yeah. So what have you been reading?
I just read a really cool YA book called Fair is Foul, or Foul is Fair, rather.
Uh-huh.
By Hannah Capin, and it is a modern YA retelling of Macbeth for the Me Too era.
Oh, okay. What makes it for the Me Too era?
So basically, it's told from the point of view of a high school girl who is Lady Macbeth, essentially. And, like are you familiar with Macbeth?
Familiar-ish.
Okay, so like in the beginning, like Lady Macbeth is the one who's really ambitious and she kind of orchestrates the killing of the king.
Uh-huh.
So in this version, she, on her 16th birthday, and her friends went to a party, and she was raped. She was roofied and raped by a group of kids from a prep school, group of boys. So she vows to get revenge. It's very dark. It's a very dark book. It's like a Heathers. There's a lot of like murder and stuff in it.
Okay.
And it's not very funny. It's very dark, but that's good because Macbeth is dark. She transfers into their school, and she orchestrates it by getting this kid named Mac to like overthrow the king of the school, who's the one who raped her. And then it actually really closely follows the whole play of Macbeth up until the end. Things get turned around. It's really clever, really, really dark, and just it was a fun read.
That sounds fun.
I liked it a lot.
What is your familiarity with The Bard?
I'm probably not as familiar as I should be for an English teacher, but in college I took 2 Shakespeare courses. I'm very, very familiar with a small number of his plays, and I've read a lot of the sonnets.
All I've done is read some of the sonnets. I'm really unfamiliar. Like, I know the titles and I know a lot of synopses, but I've really read very little of Shakespeare.
You never, not even in high school, you never read Romeo and Juliet?
I was meant to read it in high school, but I did not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very familiar, like I said, I'm very familiar with just a handful because I've taught them. So I'm very, very familiar with...
What have you taught?
Macbeth, Othello, Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet.
I really like have you ever seen the Orson Welles Othello?
No.
If you can get over the blackface.
I've seen clips of it. I've never seen the entire thing. When I teach Shakespeare, I always like to treat the kids to like a outside the box adaptation because I think that's one of the fun things about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So when I teach Othello, I always show them O.
I've never seen O.
It's not a good movie, but it's like a movie that teenagers really like.
Okay.
And it's clever. It's like it's like kind of what I just described. It's like Othello in a prep school.
Okay.
And then, like I said earlier, Romeo and Juliet, I like to show the Leo version. For Macbeth, there is a contemporary version called Scotland, PA that I've never seen, but I heard is really good. It's like a black comedy based on Macbeth. But I show them like clips of the Michael Fassbender one that just came out recently.
Okay.
And Romeo and Juliet. I already said that. What else? Oh, Hamlet. There are lots of versions of Hamlet. I actually really like the Mel Gibson Hamlet, even though a lot of people don't. It works as a movie because it's like 90 minutes and it's got lots of stars in it and it's just like very easy to understand. But then there are some straight adaptations that are super. I mean, it's his longest play. It's just like 2.5, 3 hours long, and it's a lot.
Well, you were just telling me off the air that you think Mel Gibson got a bad rap.
No, I wasn't telling you that. How dare you?
Yeah, it's hard to watch some of his stuff now.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, he's terrible. He's a terrible person. But anyway, so I just read that. And then I've been watching Black Monday on Showtime.
How is that?
All right, so I like it.
That's the guy who did Happy Endings, right?
Yes. It's David Cass, who's Casey Wilson's husband in real life, and she's in it, and I love her. And I love Regina Hall. I love Andrew Rannells. I love Don Cheadle. Like, the acting is all great. My problem with it, I'm almost done with season 1. So it's like, I'm like 7 episodes in.
Uh-huh.
My problem with it is, and I'm confident that they'll figure this out because it's like a very common problem for first seasons of shows. It doesn't know what it wants to be yet. So like, there are times and scenes that are just like straight 30 Rock, where it's just like ridiculous jokes coming at you every 30 seconds.
Really? I thought it was more serious than that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In the beginning, it starts off as more of like a black comedy that's dark and serious.
Yeah.
But then as the episodes go on, you could see that they're all comedy writers and they just like get more and more ridiculous. And like some of the bits are like straight out of 30 Rock, like ridiculous.
Well, but isn't it based on a real thing that happened in the 80s?
Yeah, it is. It's based on a real. In 1987, there was the biggest one-day drop of all time on a random Monday, and nobody really knows why it happened. And this show, like, is a fictional explanation of what happened.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, it's got an identity crisis. Like, sometimes it's really dark, other times it's really funny, like jokes coming at you really quickly and really silly.
Yeah.
But the performances are really good, and it's really well made. I like everybody in it. Paul Scheer's big in it too. He's one of the main people. So I like it, and I feel like the ship is probably righting itself, because from what I've read, the second season is like getting better reviews than the first.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting because it's like it's got that happy endings kind of humor too, but it's a very dark premise, so it's kind of hard to reconcile the two. So it's kind of a mixed bag for the most of the first season. The first episode, the pilot, was directed by Seth Rogen.
Okay.
He's an executive producer on it.
Where is it on?
Showtime. It's really cool. It takes place in the 80s, obviously, and the Showtime logo is the original Showtime logo.
That's
cool.
Cool.
At the beginning of every episode, they have the 80s Showtime logo, and they have the thing, like in the "It's Showtime Tonight," like the old Showtime jingle. It's really cool.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying I've been enjoying it, but it's one of those things where it's just like if I weren't stuck in my house, I probably wouldn't be watching it, but I just keep watching it, and I'm
right.
So with it already.
Everyone keeps. I mean, I'm not stuck in a house, but I am obviously less social and going out less.
Yeah.
But I have not been getting a lot done in terms of viewing things, and I feel like there's this weird pressure online to be like, now's the time to watch all this stuff and read all this stuff, and I can't bring myself to do it.
I know. I resent that. It's not even so much that. What I really resent is these fucking people that are treating this like it's a fucking retreat. Yeah, where it's like, hey man, come out of this being like a better version of you, and like
write that book you always wanted to write.
Yeah, it's like, man, this is a pandemic and we're all quarantined. Like, stop trying to sell me on your bullshit.
Right.
Like, we're all very anxious about it. Like, nobody is taking the opportunity to just like, it's not a wellness retreat.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people on social media are trying to spin it like it is.
Right. I read this thing, this article by this doctor who is an expert in trauma, and it was all about how, like, that bullshit is bad for us, and, like, accept that, like, we're all just getting by because it's fucking horrible outside, and don't put any pressure on yourself to, like, I don't know, like, lose weight or watch The Wire.
Right. Which, I mean, they're both equally as hard. One is
they're both impossible to start.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that there's a great deal of like liberation that comes with just accepting your circumstances and just saying like, hey, it's okay for this to suck.
Right.
You know? And I think I read something similar. Maybe it was even the same article. Was that the article that basically like he said he feels like as a society we're going to have like PTSD when we come out of this? I
believe so.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But we are.
We definitely are. And it's going to manifest in really interesting ways.
I saw a funny meme that was like the way that we would treat old people in the Depression, like they would have weird things. We're going to have them. Like our grandkids are going to be like, why does Grandpa hoard toilet paper? And he'd be like, he lived through COVID. He doesn't like to talk about it. Yeah,
it's true. That's really true. I mean, we're seeing here a society reduced to rubble.
Yeah.
A civilization reduced to dust. I mean, the other day I went to the grocery store and I was like so happy that they had paper towels.
You know what?
Like, this is the best fucking day of my life.
I know. Everyone bought up all the toilet paper. People didn't realize paper towels was the thing.
Yeah. I don't go out except to go to the grocery store. And I usually go like once or twice a week. And just yesterday was the first time they had just restocked the paper goods aisle. And it was all like off-brand government toilet tissue shit.
Sure.
So it was something. And like people, it was like goddamn Christmas morning. Like people were like, oh my God, yes, it's here. It's here. Finally here. And like stocking up
It's like that footage you see of people trying to get Cabbage Patch dolls in the 80s.
Yes.
Like elbowing each other in the face for toilet paper.
Yeah. And this one woman was like, the brand is like Elegant.
Sure.
And the one woman was like, I've never heard of this brand. What is Elegant? And then this other guy was like, it gets the job done. That's what it is. Fucking take it.
What's Elegant?
It's all like
the RC Cola of toilet paper.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it will disintegrate when it touches human hands.
Yeah.
You cannot find hand sanitizer anywhere. I mean, it's just insane. Like, it'll be years, I feel like, before we get our hands on hand sanitizer again.
Wow.
And I had a hard time finding hand soap for a while, and I was almost out, and I was getting concerned, and then I found it, and I just like stocked up.
Okay.
Soap, like literally just to find soap. But what's crazy is like everything else is pretty fine. It's just those essentials that you really can't find.
Yeah.
Like food is all there. Everything else is all there. It's just like paper goods and cleaning supplies. They're gone. What have you been chilling with besides anxiety over the pandemic?
I splurged and okay. So there's this toy company called Mega Constructs. It's basically the same system as Lego, but it's not Lego. And like last year or 2 years ago, they put out a gigantic Castle Greyskull from Masters Universe.
Okay.
And it was like $300. So I was like, nah, I can't. But it's come down to like $140, and I got it.
You deserve it.
I fucking do deserve it. And I've been working on that for like a week. I do a little bit every day. It's big. It might be, other than the Disney castle that I made with Jen, it's probably the biggest thing I've made.
That's awesome. I wonder if a lot of people are buying that, because I've heard that there's a big shortage of puzzles right now.
Really, there is?
Yeah, people buying up all the jigsaw puzzles.
Would you like, I have a puzzle that I have not opened.
I'm in the middle of a 1,000-piecer right now, so I'm good for a while.
I've got a 1,000-piece Ninja Turtles one that's like the original Ninja Turtles comic style.
You know, for somebody who loves Legos, I feel like you really would love puzzling. I don't know why you don't do it.
I don't know why I don't puzzle.
You'd like it. It's very...
When you're done with Legos, you've got something.
You could frame your puzzles.
Yeah, but then you're one of those people who frames puzzles.
Yeah.
What am I going to glue it?
They sell that. I don't know. It's just satisfaction of getting it done, and then...
Take a picture on your phone?
Take a picture, yeah, on our phone, and then that's it.
You and Janine are both puzzlers. Did you get her into it, or did she get you into it? And why are you guys so white?
We're both into it independent of one another, actually. I originally got into it because it was recommended to me.
For stress?
Yeah, as a way of coping with anxiety. And now I just like it.
But does it work in that regard?
It does, because it's like active meditation. Like you're forced to focus outwardly.
That happens with me in Lego.
It's the same principle. Yeah, it's the same thing.
I go on my desk and I have the book open to the instructions, and then I have the pieces. I usually have a coffee with me, and then my phone playing a podcast. And that's my little happy place.
And then you start clicking them bricks.
Clicking them bricks, bro. Do you listen to podcasts while you puzzle?
No.
Solve? Do you call it solving?
I don't call it solving. No, I usually listen to music. I'm weird. I feel like when I'm listening to podcasts, I can only pay attention if I'm doing something really mindless, like showering or scrolling through social media. Like, I feel like puzzling requires too much concentration. I wouldn't.
Not me. I listen to podcasts when I play video games.
Oh, I couldn't do. Actually, I could probably do that because, well, it depends on which video game. Like, if it's an old school side scroller, I listen to podcasts a lot when I play like games on my phone, like Brick Breaker and stuff.
Well, like if it's a game that has dialogue, I'll put on the subtitles, and sometimes I'll have to pause it. But like a game like Doom, which, I know that there's sound designers and they work really hard, and I'm sorry, but I love listening to a podcast and like playing Doom or but I don't listen to music. We've talked about this before. I'm very weird. I'm not a music person.
I'm not a huge music person either, but I do listen to it. But just my music taste, like I don't have a favorite band or favorite artist. I have like a few that I like, but I listen to podcasts always in the car too.
The car, the gym, everywhere I listen to podcasts.
I can't. I mean, I don't really go to the gym, but even when I'm like out for a walk or whatever, like I can't podcast then either. I don't know. I'm weird. It depends on what I'm doing, I guess. What have you been listening to? Any new podcasts?
A podcast that Janine got me into, Binge Mode, just came back.
Oh, she was telling me about that.
The thing about Binge Mode is it's always themed on something, so you have to be into the theme.
I like some podcasts, though, where like I get to just scroll through the episodes and download ones that I think I'll like and save them for later. That's
how I like PCMC to be.
Yeah, I think it's like that. I think that our show is like that.
Especially the minis.
Yeah, I did that with the guys who did, well, one of the guys who did In Voorhees We Trust.
Yeah.
And In Myers We Trust. He had a podcast that was I Was There Too. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I like
Matt Gorley.
Gorley, yeah, I like that, but I don't listen to all of them. I just go through the ones that are interesting to me, and I download those.
Did you hear the episode with the comedian Greg Proops?
No, what was it?
He was in Star Wars Episode 1 as the pod race announcer.
Oh, no, but I you know what? I might have that downloaded, actually. Yes, I do. I have that downloaded. I have a few Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend downloaded.
Matt Gorley's on that, too.
Yeah. I have I have a few Katie Couric's downloaded.
I do that when I find something new, but then eventually I sort of blow through them, and then I'm waiting week by week. I guess my favorite podcast is We Hate Movies, and during this pandemic, they started this new like sideshow that comes out like twice a week called Melrose 210.
Okay,
where it's just them going through there's 2 episodes a week, and one is an episode of Melrose Place, and the other is 90210, and they just go through it.
That's funny. Did you know that Donald Faison and Zach Braff have a new podcast?
Do they?
Yeah, it's called Fake Doctors, Real Friends with Zach and Donald.
That's fun.
And it's not even about Scrubs. It's just them. Oh, actually, I mean, there's some Scrubs stuff, but it's not like they don't go through every episode of Scrubs. Like the Office ladies, they go through every episode of The Office. And those are the women who were on the show, right? Yeah, it's Angela and Pam. I like that too, but again, I don't listen to every single episode. Just like the episode I like. Yeah. I liked The Office when it was on, but people worship it now. Yeah, I always liked Parks and Rec better. Oh, it's much better. Parks and Rec has much more heart, too. Yeah. You know what I watched the other night? What? The series finale of Modern Family. Oh, how was that? Well, I haven't watched in seasons, so I was coming in the middle of story arcs that I was not aware of. Yeah, I haven't watched either. But, it wasn't terribly dramatic. I read, though, an interview with the showrunners, and they said that they always think it's appropriate that a series finale should also have the character saying goodbye to something, too. Yeah. So, I mean, I read some spoilers. Like, they, break apart, basically, right? Right. Cam and Mitchell move back to where Cam is from, so he could be a coach for, I think, a college football team. Yeah. And Manny leaves to go to college. And then the Dunphy kids all move out, too, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't like, based on what I've read, what they did with Haley. She's like a fuck up. Like she has kids. Yeah, and she married the dumb boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah. Which is like, I really liked her with the other dude from Pitch Perfect, Manny. Yeah, I really liked him at Workaholics. Yeah. Well, the joke was that he was a male nanny, so they called him Manny, but then there was also a character named Manny. Yeah. I thought that they were going to reveal at the end, what the documentary was. Did they do anything like that? Nope. See, that's stupid. Well, Parks and Rec did that too. The only show that ever actually paid off the idea that it was a documentary was The Office. Well, it's so interesting because The Office is a mockumentary. Adam Devine, that's the person. Yeah. The Office is a mockumentary, but then its popularity started the style that is so popular now, but they don't engage with that mockumentary as a plot device. No, not at all. Even Veep, and I love Veep, but Veep has a lot of characters behind closed doors talking and the cameras outside and you're just listening in on them. Yeah. And it's this isn't supposed to be a mockumentary. What's going on? Have you ever seen, there's articles online about scenes from The Office that could never be filmed? Times where it would be impossible really for someone to be there? Yeah. There's a lot of them. Because they would need so much setup.
See, but I really think Modern Family should have, because Modern Family even did the first-person testimonials.
Yeah.
No, but they don't.
Narrative style, I guess.
Yeah. It was okay. I laughed a few times.
You ever wonder, like, what shows, if they had come out later, would be a different style or earlier? Like, Tina Fey once said that if 30 Rock came out a few years earlier, it probably would have been like a 3-camera.
It would not have been as good at all.
Right. And she said that, like, they just did a single camera because that was what was required at the time.
Right.
Like, that's just what we do now.
But now we don't. Now that's too expensive. Now we're back to, at least networks are back to the old way.
Yeah. I always think about that, like, if classic shows, like, came out later or earlier, like, how they would be different stylistically.
What do you think of the sitcom itself as a medium? Because I'm not somebody who shits on it, but I've also never much thought it was that good.
I had a professor in college. I took a sitcom course, and it was taught by somebody who did a lot of work on sitcoms. And he, when I tell you, revered the sitcom as a genre, he was like, it's the best genre we have. But no, I think more realistically, he was like, it's the most American genre there is.
Right. No, and it's the most domestic.
Yeah, and
you're in your living room watching them in their living room.
Exactly. That was his whole thing. And so he had so much love and affection for it that it kind of rubbed off on me. And we used a textbook in that class that I still have. It's called the Sitcom Reader.
I mean, so much of it is bad. That's the thing.
But what's interesting is that when you get a good one, it's really good. Sitcoms are also really good, like, time capsules of, like, the zeitgeist of any given time period, I feel like.
Yes, of course.
And there are certain sitcoms that just stand up and others that just fall apart. Like, I'm one of those people who happens to think that Seinfeld, even though I don't like Jerry Seinfeld, I still watch Seinfeld and think it's a great show and I enjoy it. But I Friends, which I used to love and I no longer enjoy.
Yeah, I don't enjoy Friends either, but it's still widely successful with a new generation of viewers.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just a very young generation of viewers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't think adults would watch Friends now and say, like, it's great.
But I remember as a kid in the 80s watching, like, Three's Company, and I was 10 years or 15 years late on that, and I remember liking it a lot.
Well, I just think about our parents, too. Like, they used to watch Full House and stuff with us, and it's like, were they enjoying that?
No, how could anyone enjoy that?
I don't know. Like, Fuller House, my God, it's just nostalgia. Like, that's the only thing it runs on.
Right. And
it's just horrible.
That's the thing that gets me about a lot of sitcoms is I'm not against the way it looks or the performance or anything. It's just the jokes. More times than not, the jokes make me cringe rather than make me laugh.
Right. But then again, I haven't watched a lot of the newer sitcoms. Some of them might be good and I'm just not paying attention to them.
I've watched a lot of Big Bang, and I'm sorry, I cannot do it.
Big Bang is horrible. But I heard good things about, like, Bob Hart's Abishola. I don't know. I also think we've gotten to a point where, like, 3-camera sitcoms are kind of, like, very meta. Like, they're all, like, caricatures of themselves. Like, they're all trying to get back to something that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, the one-camera sitcom is considered as part of the genre. But in my mind, when I think sitcom, I think 3-camera.
3-camera, and it's set up like a play.
Right. To me, one camera is not... And what's interesting about Seinfeld is it's a combination of 1 camera and 3-camera.
Yes, and it has some very jarring laugh track moments during those single-camera scenes.
Yeah, the laugh track is another odd part of the sitcom.
Yeah, it's weird because it really is just like it's like a psychological cue that, like, right. Oh, I find this funny.
I like it when it's an actual audience, but when it's not... It's so, if you ignore it, it's fine, but if you get yourself thinking about it, it could ruin the show for you because all you're doing is thinking about how weird it is.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I recently was watching Seinfeld and I noticed for the first time ever that if you watch Seinfeld, at least for the first, like, 5 or 6 seasons, they may have gotten rid of it by the end, but if you listen very closely, there's a soundtrack of New York traffic that plays through every scene.
Really?
And now it drives me crazy because now I listen for it. Like, you can hear, like, honking and stuff in the background.
Every scene?
Every scene. Like, I guess they were just, like, really trying to ground it in New York City, especially in the early seasons.
Well, maybe they should have hired some black people.
Well, yeah. But they'll be in the apartment like talking, and you'll hear like very faint honking and traffic noises in the background. And I don't know how I picked up on it, but I did, and then I realized that like it's in every episode of like the first 5 or 6 seasons.
And now you can't unhear it.
Now I can't unhear it. It's just like a weird thing. I've heard really good things about that sitcom Mom with Allison Janney.
I can't get into that either. I think it's just all the sitcoms I've ever really liked have all been sort of subversive to the form of sitcom, like Married with Children or Roseanne.
Roseanne, I wrote a paper in that class that I took. My final paper was on Roseanne.
Really?
He just told us to basically pick a sitcom and write our paper about it, like do a critical analysis of it. And I did Roseanne.
Interesting. I came around on Married with Children. When I was a little kid, I loved it. And then as I got older, I thought it was stupid and corny and offensive. But now I've come back around because if you think about it in terms of how is this responding to other sitcoms like Cosby?
Wasn't it supposed to be the anti-Cosby?
I think the pilot was named Not Cosby.
Yes.
So if you think about it in that sense, yes, there's still offensive stuff in it, but there's something subversive about that it's doing that.
Well, because it's a sitcom about a family that's just trash.
Right.
And it's like Roseanne kind of did that too, but more sincerely. Yeah.
It was less satire.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I think Married with Children is one of those shows where a lot of dumb people like, oh, Al Bundy's my hero, not realizing that like Al Bundy's supposed to be, it's satirical. Like Al Bundy's a bad person.
Right. They're all trash people.
Right. And Al Bundy's like not a good guy.
And as that show went on, the later seasons kind of went from sharp satire to like really silly parody.
Oh, really silly. And then getting to the point where like every time Christina Applegate walked in, there was like hooting and hollering.
Yeah. Fox.
Yeah. Do you consider The Simpsons a sitcom?
That's interesting. No, I don't. I don't think I do. I mean, it's certainly domestic like a sitcom.
In the early seasons, I feel like, yeah.
Perhaps. I don't know. It's an interesting thought.
Wasn't the Flintstones supposed to be like the first animated sitcom?
I don't know if it was the first, but it was. It was a prime time show. And
it had a laugh track in the first season.
Yes. That always is weird to me because I think the early Scooby-Doo has it too.
Well, you know my childhood theory on cartoons, right?
What?
For when I was a little kid, for a really long time, I thought cartoons are real. I just have never seen one.
Did you think the people laughing on the laugh track were also cartoons, or they were people like you watching them?
That I never thought much about. But I know I didn't get what a cartoon was. And so I would just think like, man, like I'd love to see one time in real life, but just haven't.
One day though.
Yeah. I was probably like in pre-K, but
no, I'm sure a lot of kids have that thought.
Yeah.
That and puppets. Like where are the puppets? Like I have not seen a puppet anywhere.
Yeah.
Where's this Sesame Street where humans and puppets coexist in peace?
There's funny stuff online I've seen of like things kids thought, and like one that was really funny was like this person when they were a little kid thought that every time it was a rerun, it was like they were performing it again.
That's cute.
And be like, God, aren't they tired of doing the same performance over and over?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people who aren't pop culture savvy still have thoughts like that about media. Like I'm sure an average person who knows nothing about like movie production, like thinks like you just put the camera on and then the lightsaber comes out and the sound is there.
Well, that's how they do it. Yeah, I guess. Although I think that now that you can follow celebrities and stuff on social media, a lot of that magic is gone.
Yeah. But you know what? When an actor plays a certain kind of character, no matter how smart you are, you can't help but feel like that's who they are.
Yeah.
Like you look at somebody like, I don't know, like Jeremy Irons, and you're like, he's got to be an evil creep, right?
Yeah.
He's not a regular guy.
You know, speaking of like media consumption, have you following this Quibi thing?
Yeah, I don't get it. I haven't looked at it yet.
It scares me.
Well, it shouldn't because on its opening day, it had way less downloads than they had imagined. It's already failing tremendously.
Okay, good, because I could see it becoming something that's really successful, and I just feel like our attention spans have been damaged enough.
Right.
The whole idea of Quibi, for those who don't know, is that it's all premium television shows, but each episode is no longer than 10 minutes.
So what do they do? Do they edit it down to 10 minutes, or do they just cut it as 10-minute chunks?
I don't know, because I haven't watched any of them. But from what I understand, the whole idea was like, people want to watch quality TV shows on their phones.
Like on a break from work.
Yes. And so, like, catch a Quibi, like that. And it's short. It comes from Quick Bite.
Okay. One of my favorite YouTubers, Jenny Nicholson, I follow her on Twitter, and she was saying something interesting where she was like, that's really like a late 90s, early 2000s way of thinking about the internet. Because when people like content, they actually can pay attention. Because think about like binging. When binging became a popular form of consumption, it completely flew in the face of like everything people have been saying before that. Like, oh, we don't have attention spans anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And I also kind of think that, like, if somebody, like, whenever anybody wants to show me a funny video, like, I thought it's like, how fucking long is this thing? If no matter how good you tell me it is, if I look at a video and it's something that's supposed to be quick and I see that it's 9 minutes, I'm going to be like, this is too long now.
Well, like Jenny Nicholson was saying, like, it's got to be 3 minutes or an hour.
Right.
Any in between is awkward and weird.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, I don't know, not to get, like, all, like, graduate school on you, but, like,
please don't. The
idea of, like, somehow the way that it's somehow marketed as being part of the work day and, like, it's part of the system of, like I read an essay a couple years ago about media snacking and how, like, throughout the day you snack on media to get through work.
Well, yeah, that's what it's like. Quick bite. It's like they're really going with that analogy.
But that's weird because it's like, I still like to think of media as a leisure activity that's outside of, I mean, obviously you're spending money. Obviously you're not outside of the economy, but it's not, at least it's not part of your labor. And to think of it as like, here's 10 minutes when you're on a break from your shitty job. Like, I don't like that.
I guess their thinking is like more and more people are working like 24/7.
Horrifying.
So yeah, like everybody's working from home. Everybody's kind of like always on the job.
Right.
So.
And they're saying that's maybe one of the reasons why Quibi is kind of failing, because people are not at work right now.
Yeah, it's like anything else. Like when podcasts first started, those weren't very popular either. I think all it's going to take is one to be really good and get the attention of a lot of people, and then it'll take off.
It really feels like an idea that's like an idea you would have seen in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about obsessions. Welcome back to PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm here with Anthony Bongiorno. PCMC is a podcast that is available anywhere podcasts can be found. All your major podcast distributors, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, what have you. You can also follow at Pop Culture Man Children on Instagram or at PCMC Pod on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anthony, you on Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter.
Well, this is Obsessions. Anthony, what are you obsessed with?
I'm obsessed with The West Wing.
You're a real Sorkin head.
Yeah, I guess so. I've never watched West Wing before, and now I can't get enough.
I haven't watched it either.
Oh, man. I think it's just scratching an itch right now because...
You want to see a good president be good and smart?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's also...
A president acting presidential?
It's like a liberal fantasy. You know, he's just like the perfect president.
Yeah. He knows how to read books.
Yeah. But it's so, I mean, it's just so good. I mean, I know that it has its flaws, and Sorkin, you know, a lot of people don't like his style. It's a lot of walking and talking.
Yeah, his style, I mean, I like it in some ways, but it's stylized. It's formal and in a way that doesn't resemble reality.
Yeah, but it's like comfort food. I don't know. It's a really good, like, early 2000s hour-long drama, and those are just good shows. Like that, ER, NYPD Blue, like those are good shows.
Have you watched all of it?
No, at the end of season 3. There are 7 seasons, but I'm flying through it, and Sorkin's going to leave soon. He leaves at the end of season 4, and I've heard that it goes downhill after that.
Oh, I didn't realize that he left.
Yeah, he left to do other projects.
Oh, that SNL thing that sucked?
Yeah, that was one. Yeah, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. That was after West Wing ended, though, because that had Bradley Whitford, who's one of the stars of West Wing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like comfort food. Like I said, it's just like really good. And it's just like, man, remember when, I know it was always kind of fantasy, but at least there used to be like more decorum in politics. And it's just this freak show that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Is so upsetting that it's just like, it makes you yearn for the old days of politics where, like some of the scandals on the show are so insane by today's standards. Like there's one episode where like the major event is that CJ Craig, the White House press secretary, who gives a briefing every day because, that's what press secretaries are supposed to do.
Uh-huh.
She misspeaks because there's this personal issue of his that comes to light. And then there's also there's a military situation, like an event that happens. And basically what the reporters are asking her about is like the personal stuff rather than the event. And they say something, and basically she says the president's relieved to be able to focus on something that matters instead of his personal life. And then the reporters are like, the president's relieved that there's a situation in the Middle East that we're sending troops to. Right. That's the big scandal, is that she used the word relieved.
Right.
And they're like, this is going to kill us in the next election, CJ. Like, God, those days are over. Like,
yeah,
this guy just says whatever he wants all the time.
I was looking at some speech from Obama recently, and I forget what word he used, but he used the grown-up word, like a word that had like 3 syllables in it. And I just thought, you'd never hear Trump say that word.
Well, he also mocks people. And I'm not even being partisan here. I'm talking like Republicans and Democrats. They both used to just have a lot more dignity. And like,
there are more grown-ups involved. It's like there's no grown-ups anymore.
Even, did you ever see when Trump makes fun of George Bush's speech from the 90s about the 1,000 points of light?
No.
George Bush gave this speech. I think it was one of his State of the Unions, the first George Bush. And he says something about like the promise of America and like there are 1,000 points of light or something like that. And Trump, just out of nowhere, right before he died too, was like, 1,000 points of light. Did anyone understand what the hell that meant? I never understood what the hell that meant. And then he's like, God, and it was said by a Republican too. What a shame.
Wow.
It's
what a dog whistle to illiterate people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. Do you understand that?
And then he followed it up by going, you know what I understand? I understand make America great.
Yeah.
I understand America first. And the crowd was, of course, eating it up.
There's no metaphor in that.
But anyway, so that's my obsession right now. I'm watching it constantly.
Okay. My current obsession is, and this isn't released yet, but Lego partnered with Nintendo, and they've come up with this new Mario, these Lego sets. But usually when Lego does when they get a license like Star Wars or Harry Potter, they make sets that are little tableaus, or they make what they call brickheads, which is these little figures. But what they're doing with Mario is completely different, where it's like a game. The starter set is this sort of Mario figure that's Lego, but it also is electronic, and Mario's eyes can blink and make expressions.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and his chest has image on it, so like you can collect points and the chest counts them.
Oh my God.
So as you buy these expanded sets, you basically create more of a sort of linear line for Mario to travel down, and it's like a game.
Well, that sounds amazing.
It looks really, really cool. They just released the image for a Koopa set, and it's like Koopa on his throne. But again, it's different because it's like a game. It's the most innovative thing I think Lego's done in a while. And you can tell that Nintendo is a part of it, because Nintendo, for all of its flaws, has always been innovative.
Yeah.
Some of its ideas fail, like the Power Glove, or, you know, in some ways the We Fit board. But they always took big swings at ideas.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
It looks really cool. If you get a chance, look up the trailer for the starter set that's coming out, I think, in May. I can't wait. It's really cool stuff.
Oh, okay. I have another obsession. I forgot to mention. In this time of COVID, you know, we're all doing our best. Janine and I went in halvesies on a masterclass pass.
What are you taking a masterclass in?
Well, I'm taking right now writing The Art of Short Fiction with Joyce Carol Oates.
Sure.
Then I have lined up next Margaret Atwood. And then there's one I want to take with Judy Blume.
Are they worth it? Because I've thought about these.
All right. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Right now, I think it's worth it because of everybody being home. Like, they're just one of those services that are offering, like, great discounts. Yeah. So it's $180 for a year of all-access pass. Like, you could take as many classes as you want for a year.
Okay.
But why I really went for it, because 180 is pretty steep, is that right now they're doing a 2-for-1. So I texted a few people and I was like, hey, do you want to go in $90 with me and we'll split it? Janine bit because she wants to take the Neil Gaiman class.
Oh, I want to take that one too.
So we split it. And I will tell you, I think it's great. The one complaint that I have, just because I'm somebody who's in education, I think maybe this is where this is coming from, is it's not as interactive as I would like. Like, I was expecting more like, okay, here's the lesson plan, and you're going to watch this video, and then you're going to do this thing, and then, or you're going to be asked these questions in the middle, or something like that's more interactive.
Right.
It's kind of just
lecture.
There's a workbook that comes with every class that you could download, and the workbook has activities, but the videos themselves are just lectures.
How long are they?
They're each like 20 minutes.
So wait, it's only one 20-minute thing, or there's
No, it's like a series of lectures. Each one is like 20 minutes.
Oh, so like Margaret Atwood, there's like 5 lectures.
Yeah, but what I really think it is it looks like they just do one long interview and then they chop it up and break it down into parts by topic.
It always seemed to me like kind of a scam. Like, I'm sure there's good information in it, but it always seemed like this could be an audiobook or a podcast, but you're just getting big names and making it seem classy and then really charging a lot for them.
Yeah, it's expensive. And like I said, I wouldn't have done it if it weren't for the discount. And yeah, it is like that, although the workbooks are cool because it's basically like with every...
Are they physical?
You could download them and print them. They're PDF.
Oh, okay.
But it's like with every course comes like a complete textbook with like chapters and like exercises at the end of each chapter. And that's just, okay. I'm just using it for writing, but they do offer a lot of other stuff. Like they have a lot of cooking classes.
I've seen like one of the sharks from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Does like a how to get rich scheme.
Yeah. They have like interior design. I don't know. I mean, I bought the yearly pass. I'll see how the year goes. So far, It's pretty cool. Like I've been doing it as like a fun, I'm looking for fun, active things to do in the house, man.
Are you going to do the John Grisham one? I think there's a John Grisham one.
There is a John Grisham one. No, I'm
sure that one's so different from like the Neil Gaiman one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to do the Neil Gaiman one too. I wanted to start with Joyce Carol Oates, Margaret Atwood, and Judy Blume, and then I'll branch out into some of the other ones.
I'd be so interested in just comparing these different writers, because I'm sure John Grisham is like, yeah, you get a scotch and a cigar, and you put the History Channel on in the background on mute, and you're fucking right.
Well, yeah.
Neil Gaiman is like probably much more flowery, and
it reminds me so much of like the creative writing classes I took in college, where like, you know, everybody's just writing's it's art. So like everybody has their own style, and you know, each person will tell you like this is what you should do. So like Joyce Carol Oates, her big thing was like start with characters, and then you know everything will follow. But I'm sure John Grisham, just based on what I know of his books, is going to say, like, you start with a plot.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, because his books are so plot heavy, and I'm sure they don't have, like, great, deep character development.
Well, you're stuck inside, so you should write a novel right now.
I know. Well, that's why I took the master class. They got me.
So this has been PCMC. Anthony, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe and sound.
You too.
Love you, bro.
You're better than me. La jealousy.
All right.
Bye.
Go bye-bye.